I'm going to be saying excerpts from I Have a Dream by Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born 1929 and died 1968. He was the youngest person to receive a Nobel Peace Prize and was a well-known Afro-American preacher and stood up for black rights. Martin Luther also led the Montague bus boycott. And after he was assassinated, was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Excerpts from I Have a Dream by Martin Luther King Jr.
Hey, sorry to interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
You know that.
Yeah,
what are you reading it
but
for?
I can put more into it if I read it.
Could you do your best at the part you've memorized? Please? That's the point of today, okay? Thank you.
50 years ago, the great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who've been seared by the flame of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of captivity. But 100 years later, we must face the tragic fact that the Negro is still not free. 100 years later, the life of a Negro is sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro finds himself on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is languishing in American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. We have come here today to dramatize an appalling condition. In a sense, we have come to our nation's capital to cash in a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note which every American was to fall heir. This note guaranteed all men inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I say to you today, my friends, that in spite of the difficulties and frustrations of the time, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day our society will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men were created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia that sons of former slaves and sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down at the table of brotherhood. When we let freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every city and every state, we will be able to speed up the day that all God's children, white men and black men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing the words of the old Negro spirituals. Free at last, thank God Almighty, free at last.